Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Lone Wolf Challenge. In the last episode, after Bandersnatch left the tribe to find a way to appease Vankir, he actually ran into a brand new little friend. So while Tanu might not be able to offer much in the ways of fixing his problem, he is some pretty good company. Bandersnatch has grown to appreciate him just as a friend, but he's also noticed that Tanu is beginning to struggle out here in the heat. So as we go ahead and skip the day, we're hoping that he's going to be able to convince Daisy, who has the curiosity of a healer inside her, to maybe find a way to fix Tanu's woes. It's not something that she hasn't seen before, since Daisy was one of the only children to ever get to know her father. She would probably remember how he struggled in the heat too. So as we have Bandersnatch flop out into the open, maybe picking up the grasses as he goes, making sure that Tanu is going to be able to charge his way through those thick weeds, he'll plead with the healer to let them stay, because they are surely no threat. They only need a place to rest, and I don't think that Daisy would have the heart to turn them away, especially after she finally caught a glimpse of Tanu. The poor thing is just struggling to get around here. He can barely move much further than the trees. But if we could only bring him out to the clearing, I wonder if maybe these fruits over here would help him a little bit too. She's already trying to figure out if there's some sort of connection between the healing fruits and the stinky fruits, so she probably figures that sweet juice would help cool him down as well. The only problem is that spiky body. She probably figures that licking out the juices from him would be a bit unadvised. So maybe instead they could provide the juice? If Paisley isn't too distracted at least. Goodness knows she has provided enough trouble for a little healer. Trouble that might even be growing in this tiny sapling right here. I'm thinking that this is probably going to grow back in a bit of a hostile manner, just like the other carnivorous plant that we have next to the stinky fruit tree. She couldn't resist though. She just had to get her taste of those red fruits, and she's found that they're some of her favorites. So we could settle her down right here, but there's a pretty good possibility that she's going to end up getting swallowed up by this thing when it grows. Maybe that's where one of our newcomers could come in, assuming that they notice it before her, because Paisley is nothing if she is not a daredevil, and even right now she'd probably be more likely to go after this little bunny right on top of the sapling. So we'll wait until Tanu makes his slow way over to the stinky fruit trees for her to start gathering the fruits. And Daisy is just going to be shaking her head over here. She cannot believe that she got stuck with such a reckless traveling partner. But honestly, she wouldn't trade her for the world. At this point, these two have been through far too much together, and I don't think she's going to abandon her anytime soon, no matter how troublesome she might be. So I suppose Daisy, for now, could probably show Bandersnatch around a little bit. We could have her clear out some of the grass too to make sure that Tanu is actually going to be able to reach those stinky fruits. Bandersnatch, why don't you go ahead and clear out the grass right here? He's probably inspecting the healing fruits around this place too, and it's always a good idea to make sure that we have easy access to these things. That was something that our tribe learned way back by our cursed camp, when our lone wolf had first landed, and it's a story that Akio knows quite well too. But right now, I'd kind of like you to find your father. I see that he left us a little present of bunny meat out here, but I was hoping that maybe he and Daylily could have another baby together before he passes. Or before Daylily passes, for that matter. I'd imagine that they're both getting pretty close to the ends of their lifespans. And oh my gosh, look at all of the roots out here. Oh my goodness, I knew that there were a lot out here, because this was about the pathway that we took to get to the first stinky fruit tree. But something tells me that you, Taku, you might want to investigate this too. He is definitely enjoying his retirement. He loves collecting all of his old roots. But you've gotta admit that this would be a better place for you. Basically any place with plenty of food to eat and plenty of places to rest their heads is what he's looking for. So Daylily, go ahead and breed with your mate. It looks like it worked that time. Excellent. No fertility getting in the way for you. So you should be able to return straight over to that berry bush, and we'll have you placed in a nest right here on the next turn. It's so far away from the cursed place where you were born, I don't think you'll have too much to worry about. Now, Akio, we'll bring you over this way so you can scare the moles and you can grab up some of those berries, I suppose. A few extra berries to pass into Daylily's hand and to ensure that her new baby will have plenty to eat. He's probably very excited to have a new little brother or sister, somebody that he can help train as another one of Comet's guards, another one of Comet's champions. So we should be ready to skip the day again, but let's go straight back to Paisley, because I want to see if this big red plant is going to grow back on this turn. Is the sapling done growing? Oh, it certainly is. Now I'm sure that you can't smell anything. Oh. Or maybe you can. Oh, how fitting. It actually grew back okay. You are one lucky, lucky bird. Even the jungle can't get you down. But Daisy can probably see you eyeing up that fruit in the distance, and she is going to lunge in and make sure that you pick up those stinky fruits instead. She'll try her best to push Tanu along too, right behind Paisley. That way he'll be able to lick off the juices in the next turn. So go ahead and gather as many as your nimble fingers can carry. And then I guess you can use your last turn to crack open this thing. I mean, she's not going to let this go to waste. Let's go ahead and open up that delicious plant of yours, and maybe you could even share a little bit of that with Tanu too. I wonder if he would be just as impressed with this thing, or if it's kind of an acquired taste for our birds. That might even explain why Daisy herself has absolutely no interest in them. But with her days being numbered now, only 2 days left on her lifespan, she's probably come to realize that she'll never truly finish her mission. But that doesn't mean that it's going to die here. While Paisley still has a little bit more time left on her lifespan, she'll be able to continue the mission to the best of her ability, if her reckless behavior doesn't get in the way. But aside from that, she does have the opportunity to perhaps have an heir, somebody to pass on the healer's curiosity to. And I wonder if maybe Bandersnatch has been particularly taken by her kind-hearted ways. Healers are very valued in this tribe after all. They would remember that from her father, so he can feel his heart swelling already for the experienced doctor. And if we were to breed the two, I'm sure there's probably a few genes we could take a closer look at, like Bandersnatch's short-sighted eyes. Let's make sure that we place the normal eyesight into his very first slot, just so that doesn't become more of an issue. Thankfully, Daisy has perfect eyesight, but her fertility is very, very poor, so we'll have to make sure that we place the highest that we can in her mutation menu. It looks like Bandersnatch's is okay, so fingers crossed it's going to be easy to set up a baby between them. Daisy doesn't have any horn genetics in either of her slots, so it would probably be a good idea for us to place something inside our mutation menu, and I guess that's going to have to be the ram horns, just so we can keep that extra little bit of strength on Bandersnatch's babies, because I guess in a way, they have the potential to be part of Comet's champions too. These babies could actually go either way. They could be blessed by Vankir, with double nimble fingers, or they could be blessed by something else. So go ahead and breed with Daisy. Oh, thank goodness, right away too. So this might actually be the right choice for us. It seems like something is definitely looking out for you guys. We'll bring you all the way over to the stinky fruit tree, because we can build nests next to these as well. In fact, the stinky fruit trees were usually taken as a greater sign of Vankir, because there are so many more fruits for us to harvest here. So we're allowing up to 2 nests to be built by its base. And since you'll be spending some extra time right at Paisley's side, you can make sure that she is actually doing her job. It's far enough away from any of the carnivorous plants that you won't have to worry about your baby either, and I'm sure that was probably a concern for you. So there's nothing more for her to do, but we could have Bandersnatch try again to clear out a bit of this grass. Just make sure that their pathway back to the main camp is clear as well. Or perhaps if anybody else decides to follow them. Because you know what, Taku? You didn't exactly carry on that message, did you? And since you're finally about to cross paths with Kyo and his family, maybe it's time that you mention that Bandersnatch has disappeared. I mean, I know that our friendly Bergina did see him, and he kind of seemed to give him his blessings? Oh no, is that a rogue male? Oh, thank goodness Daylily is already having her baby. In fact, you better go ahead and place down your nest right now, and we'll have you go ahead and scoop up all of these berries over here too. Akio can grab the very last ones as he listens to Taku's story, and as he eyes the stranger warily. Now, a creature with 2 no-paws, that must be the biggest insult to Vankir. Somebody who can't collect a single piece of his harvest. So he would probably assume that creatures like the rogue males don't even value the harvest that he gives them, and that's why he's cursed them with these awful genetics. Ooh, wait a second. What if we do work that into our lore? Creatures with 2 no-paws are just looked down upon by the god of the harvest. Maybe because they refuse to show gratitude for his food. See, Vankir seems like he's a big, soft sweetheart, but I think he has a very, very strict side, and it's clear that you can see that in the rogue male here. So you won't be too much of a threat to us now, and I'm sure Taku doesn't even really care, to be honest. We could just scoot him on over here so he can do his best to scoop up all of these roots. And you found a kindred spirit in Taku, it seems. It must be that derp snout. He probably thinks that you're like his long-lost cousin or something. And with your laid-back demeanor, it's not like you'd care too much. But Akio is different. We'll have him scoot over here to hopefully scare the rogue male away. And if he gets any closer to his mother and the new baby, he is definitely going to land a nice big swipe on you. I'm a little bit worried about the friendly Berryina, though. I mean, it seems like he's going even farther off into the darkness. I wonder if maybe that's Mulberry's misfortune pulling him away again? I hope that he's going to come back to see his brand new baby, but honestly, I'm not too sure if it's going to be the case. He was pretty close to passing as it was. So let's go back here first to see what Daisy's baby is going to look like, and to see if Vankir is going to bless them, or if perhaps Comet's champions are going to have influence instead. Well, to be honest, she almost looks like a little copy of her mother with that golden fur of hers. But with the claw and the nimble fingers, she is just as well balanced as her father, and even as Tanu too. So I think Daisy would be willing to pass her knowledge on to you, little one. With those beautiful green eyes to connect you to the plants of the jungle. Yeah, she can see quite clearly that you have the spark of the healer's curiosity in you too. So as for your name, the next name on my list is Kankalin. So welcome to our tribe, little one. I feel like I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong, so feel free to let me know if I am. Now let's head back to little Tanu to see if we can finally get some of the fruit juice off of Paisley. She has picked plenty of these fruits, so you have quite a bit of juice to drink now. But we can only hope that that's going to finally cool you down. Daisy might even start to realize that it doesn't seem to be working. And in fact, with all of the creatures huddled around here, watching after this new little baby, of course, he's probably feeling even hotter than ever. Maybe this is even where Paisley could step in. She has a few tricks up her sleeve too. And if she has noticed that the healing fruits, or the stinky fruits rather, don't seem to be working, I wonder if maybe she would take him down to the oceans instead. Now she knows that these places can be awfully dangerous, but has Paisley ever been worried about danger? I don't think so. So let's have her come down here to light up the way, and to make sure that he doesn't get too close to the other carnivorous plants. The birds haven't inspected that one yet, after all. I guess it's an extra good thing that this baby has the big nose, because we're going to need to make sure that we still have some good-smelling creatures who can keep an eye on things out here. With her terrible sense of smell, Paisley probably doesn't even realize that she's always putting herself into harm's way. She relies more on sight, so if it doesn't look dangerous, she's gonna charge right in. Now with the Daisy's very final day upon us, I feel like she would probably just pack up this nest right underneath her baby's feet. She knows that her time to use this nursery has come to a close, so she hopes that somebody else can build a new one in her place. And while I do definitely want Bandersnatch to come back here to meet his new little baby, first I'm going to have him continue to clear out these weeds. I kind of want him to make a pathway straight in between these trees. I mean, they did a pretty good job back here, but it's going to be so difficult for anybody to find them, especially because of this short-sighted eye problem. Well, let's go back to the new little baby over here in the nest, because I think I saw that she has a pretty grand Berryina claw too. Oh, just like her brother, Berryina claw and nimble fingers. So Vankier hasn't abandoned this family by a long shot, and she's still carrying that stinky tail in her inactive traits. Our tribe has so many unique tail genes hidden away in their genetics. Eventually there won't be a trace left of this normal medium tail. Oh, and she even has tiny little pink claws? Stained by the berry juices, I'm sure. So it looks like we might have a little glutton on our hands. The next name on my list is Cyrena, so welcome to our tribe too. I can only imagine how hungry you must be, especially with that big body of yours. I don't think that's anything that anybody else has inherited yet. So maybe that's why she's always so hungry. She is a growing baby after all, and she's going to grow bigger than anybody else in her family. We might even want to see if we can find a few more berries out here somewhere. In fact, Akio, you might have to return to the main camp. But with that rogue male lurking so near, I can't imagine you're going to want to leave your mother's side. So let's see if we can maybe startle him out from hiding. We'll bring Taku over here to grab some more of those roots. Oh, it's his final day too? Well, let's be honest. He wouldn't want to go any other way. With food all around him, plenty of holes that he's dug in the ground, Taku is clearly living the life out here, and I'm sure that he enjoyed his time with our tribe. But none of that commotion startled the rogue male out from hiding. And in fact, it almost looks like he may have gone deeper into the darkness. I mean, if he's not going to bother us, then maybe it'll be fine. We could bring Akio out this way, have him settle down in the grass perhaps, lying in wait just in case the rogue male gets a little bit too close. And since he can't sense him yet, we'll just have Akio go ahead and pick up those berries. So I guess that gives you a little bit of extra time to do some tidying up. We'll have you clear out the grasses around you, build a slight pathway toward the last place where you saw your Berryina love. Though I've got to be honest with you, Daylily, I think he might be gone now, and that is just going to break her heart in two. To know that she wasn't right by his side when he passed, because she had to stay here with her baby, of course, and Akio wouldn't let her get too far out of sight. Now with so much danger lurking in the grasses. So I suppose all we can do is pass the day again. We'll go way back here as always, just to make sure that nothing dangerous is in the deepest of the jungles. Oh, and the rains have come too? Just as our healer has passed? Oh, there is no more fitting time for that. The only problem is there aren't too many berry bushes out here to pick from. So once again, Bandersnatch, I think you found yourself right outside of Vankir's reach. There are stinky fruits though, and maybe as a way to honor our fallen healer, even Paisley would turn back to grab some of those stinky fruits from the trees. It could be a way for all of the tribe to teach little Lynn about her heritage, to show her perhaps the role that she'll soon have to play. So Tanu, as a way to thank Daisy for all of her help, let's have you go ahead and scoop up the stinky fruits first. That'll leave a little bit left over for Paisley to grab, which is probably just how she likes it. And then of course Bandersnatch will have to come over too. Now I'm not really sure how licking off stinky fruit juices is going to work when we have a platypus beak involved. But let's see if you can try your best. Oh no, those spikes did harm you. Just as Daisy figured. See, you should have listened to your mate. And aside from that, it's probably because you're just so clumsy. At least this is a pretty good learning experience for Lynn though. So since you only took 1 day's worth of damage, I kind of feel like you should finish the job. One more licking action, and then we'll have you take a little bit of medicine on the next turn to heal off all of the extra damage that you took. Now as for you, Paisley, let's have you jump your way down to the shore, but we're going to wait until we finish off our turns on the other side of the island, just in case we run into any danger. We don't need you getting picked off by a leech while we're gone. Ooh, Akio, we came over here just in time. Look at this greedy little bunny eyeing up this berry bush. We'll grab every last berry that you can, okay? Every last berry off of those branches. Thankfully, it looks like the bunny was a little bit too frightened, probably by your menacing appearance, so it didn't steal a single one from us. Oh, and likewise, let's make sure that we grab the berries over here, too. Oh, there are so many bunnies skittering through the darkness right now. It looks like they're munching on the berries that we had over by the old camp. So for now, Daylily, you might be safe. I guess we could have her scoot away from the nest? Or perhaps we should have Cyrena jump out instead. She would want to get a closer look at the berries anyways, since she'll need so many to sustain herself in the future. But after this, I don't think you're going to be able to keep your mother from going off into the darkness any longer. Your berries have been picked. You'll have to find a new berry bush anyways. So we're going to see if we can find our friendly Berryena, or at least where he may have passed away. So Paisley, now you can take your final step way down to the shore. You can listen around for any danger down here perhaps, but I'm sure you're not going to notice anything. You are not the most perceptive of individuals. And now we should be ready to skip the day. So let's actually go back here. I think I'm going to want to move these creatures first, since we do still have that rogue male situation. But with the rain still falling, and the bunnies poking their heads out of the bunny burrows, yeah, let's just make sure that the dangers are all very, very far away from us. It looks like there's nothing in the immediate area. So where did the rogue male go? Akio, let's have you carve the way in front of your mother. See if you can smell anything out here. This was about the last location that you saw him after all. I wonder if he's just down by the shores. Well, there's surely no way that Cyrena is going to skip out on another meal. So as we give her a second gem, we can have her go ahead and grab the last of those berries. Then we'll have Daylily scoot her way over to the rocks, where Taku has passed away too, the poor thing. Oh no. Oh, there he is. That is definitely a pile of Berryena meat. Oh, that is so sad. I feel like Daylily has to go out there, though. I mean, at least she has some food to eat out here, too, so it certainly won't be in vain. But she can't bear to know that he passed so far away from her side. I think she's going to blame it on Mulberry's misfortune. The thing that has taken so much away from her so often in her lifetime. Her mother, her whole family, really. And even her childhood, too. And now it's gone a step further and even taken away her own love. Well, with fingers crossed that the rogue male isn't going to show his head anytime soon, we'll go ahead and give little Lynn her second gem too. Now why don't you try your hand at grabbing up some of these stinky fruits? And before Bandersnatch grabs his own healing fruit, we'll have him use one of his turns to lick off those juices. He's still a little bit too clumsy to do the whole job himself, but your dad is going to try his best to teach you all of your mother's ways. I guess Tanu could probably do the rest if he wanted to, but to be honest, he is feeling quite invigorated. Maybe that was a little gift from Daisy, finally healing him like he was hoping, so he probably just wants to go find Paisley. We do have a slight situation though. If we set him down on any one of these tiles, he's going to end up getting swallowed up by that carnivorous plant. We don't exactly have a good way to get him out of that situation right now, though we will have to deal with it eventually. So instead, you might have to take the long way around? Oh, Tanu, no! Oh, we should have just let you step right there. I completely forgot about that one. Oh, Bandersnatch, you must be terrified right now. And little Lynn too? Oh, and you thought you were doing so well, working your healing magic. Well, you are not going to stand for this. We'll have her sweep over to the carnivorous plant's side, and on the next turn, she's going to try her best to crack poor little Tanu out of this thing too. And Paisley, here you are waiting for him on the shores? Well, I'm sure you're going to hear the commotion. Let's just cross our fingers that nothing else is waiting in the darkness for you. Alright, it looks like it's safe. You could probably set up here too, and we'll have you take a good swing on the next turn. Oh, if only we had your strength, Akio. I'm sure you would be able to crack that thing open in no time. But you have other concerns. Your mother is really not doing so well. We'll have him pick up this little tiny bit of grass that is left, and on the next turn they should be able to make their way to their mother's side. But yeah, let's go back here as we skip the day. Oh my goodness. I hope Tanu has enough of his lifespan left that he won't pass away on this turn, because goodness knows those carnivorous plants can be very, very painful. Now, if Vankir has control over most of the plants in this land, that would probably include the carnivorous plants too. How do you think we should work that into our lore? I mean, like I said, I do feel like Vankir has a very strict streak in him, so maybe this has something to do with it, a way to punish those who get a little bit too greedy. But yeah, we're gonna have to bring Bandersnatch over here right away, because he would be able to do a little bit more damage. So fingers crossed. Nothing dangerous over here either. Looks like you're good, Bander. Go ahead and land 2 attacks on the carnivorous plant. Not enough to crack it open, I'm afraid. Well, Lynn has a claw too. Yes, there you go. The curiosity of a healer, but the heart of a warrior. Oh, Tanu, your life must just be like flashing before your very eyes. The poor thing is still bleeding, so Lynn, you have 1 extra turn. Let's have you go ahead and lick his wounds, which is going to harm you a little bit, but it's nothing that you haven't seen before. Maybe it's actually a good thing that Bander took a little bit of damage from that, because she would probably be much more shocked if she didn't know it was coming. And Paisley, our little bird has never known this sort of worry before. She didn't think that anything could shake her heart quite like this. And with her final day drawing so near too, this might be her only chance to confess her love to Tanu, who she so desperately wanted to save down by the shores. It means more than she ever knew to see him safe and sound like this. And while there is the potential that their baby could end up being sick if they do inherit that immunity gene H, I think it's a risk that she's going to be willing to take, especially knowing that they have such apt healers around here too. So all we have to do is make sure that their mutation menus are set up, and we should really probably be pushing that normal eyesight. I see that they both have the short-sighted eyes in their inactive traits, and considering the lack of smelling ability on their mother's side, this baby is going to need eagle-eyed vision. A little bit of extra strength probably couldn't hurt as well, so for the other slot we'll go with the ram horns too. I mean, with these carnivorous plants just lurking around these parts, they probably realize more than ever that Comet's champions are needed here. And as for your very final slot, Tanu, let's go with the fertility. Another large issue that we've seen on this leg of our journey. So go ahead and breed with her, and hopefully that fertility is not going to get in the way. 1 more try. Oh, thank goodness, because we have to get you over here to the stinky fruit tree, where you can place down a nest, right next to the very same spot where Daisy had her baby. Right next to the place where she passed even. So perhaps to honor her memory one last time, we'll have you grab that extra fruit or 2. I know she would probably prefer the red fruits over here. She still hasn't gotten the chance to taste them again. But I guess she's going to leave that for her baby instead. We'll make sure that Tanu teaches them all about the red fruits. Now as for you, Daylily, I wonder if this grief is just too much for you to bear. The rogue male is still nowhere to be seen. The remains of your fallen love are right in front of you. She probably feels like her whole world is coming to an end. Perhaps she wouldn't even notice as she leans over to grab one of the berries for her daughter, knowing that she is so gluttonous after all, that she needs so much to sustain her. She wouldn't realize that this isn't one of the normal berry bushes that they know and love, but a toxic berry bush. Perhaps even the very same one that took her mate's life. Well, I figure he was probably out here hunting bunnies or something. It's nice to assume that he might have been trying to find food for his family. And a berryina probably doesn't know the difference between 2 types of berries either. It's not something that he's used to eating after all, so maybe he did succumb to the poison too. And now with that same poison coursing through Daylily's veins on her very final day, there is no way that she's coming back from this. So perhaps Akio would toddle his way over to her side, try desperately to purr for her. We can have him purr for his sister too, but it's not going to be enough to save her at this point. No healing magic will be enough to tear her away from this version of Mulberry's curse. So one final time, let's go ahead and skip the day again. We might as well watch as Daylily passes today, right in the sight of the bluebirds as well, almost as if they're watching over so they can guide her back to her mate. At the very least, I suppose she'll be able to be with him again. Oh, and we've found another wanderer out here? Oh my goodness, what a fitting time. Almost like the swamp mother from the previous island. Maybe she has noticed these two children weeping over their mother, and she can't help but come forward to soothe them. I'm sure that Akio would be very cautious at first because he does still remember that rogue male, but he can tell that she has a much friendlier scent. So I suppose he would be willing to accept her help. And it looks like she even lives over here too, with a nest and everything right under the coconut tree. Well, if the permanent nest is there, I think that actually means that this tile should be safe for us to use, because we shouldn't have to worry about any coconuts falling down on it. So perhaps she could gently nudge little Cyrena into the nest, so she can rest and mourn, and then we'll fly all the way back to our brand new little baby born right next to the stinky fruit tree, who thankfully does not appear to be sick in any way, but we are going to have to make sure that his father gets over there to help him. I'm actually kind of surprised that the bluebird didn't take notice. Maybe it's a little bit too far away to see this baby. Or it might be nervous after noticing that scorpion tail. Oh my goodness, you look gorgeous. Wait a second. Tanu, come on over here for us. In fact, go over to this tile, because you should be able to pick up one of those healing fruits in the next turn. And then let's look at this little mac and cheese baby. Oh, you are so cute. And that scorpion tail fits him perfectly. It looks like he may have inherited the Vankir side of his family's genetics too. He is more connected to the god of the harvest, and maybe with that scorpion tail, he can finally search out for those poison berry bushes, and that's where he can make his home. But as far as his name goes, the next name on my list is actually Thor, so welcome to the tribe, little one. I guess we could assume that those yellow stripes are lightning, but honestly, he just looks like a little noodle to me. So it seems pretty clear that we're going to have to find a way to connect these two families again. They're far off on different sides of the island, but they need each other now more than ever. So maybe with Isra's help, we might be able to finally ferry the Berryina babies back to the healers. But of course, they're going to need some good long rest first. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!